What's up, guys? It's AJ Gaming here, and I'm back with another video. This one is not really going to be as much of a Clash update as it is a rant. First of all, I want to put down a little bit of news as far as the channel is going. I think I'm going to make exclusively Clash of Clans content, just because I don't really have time to play anything else. I gotta keep my builders going, and it's probably gonna take me another few months to get this base maxed out. So I want to address, and before I even get into this is gonna be very much controversial, because this is about a certain someone that was complying with police and was suffocated to death because a very bad police officer put his knee on the back of his neck despite his pleas to let up, and he was not struggling. And I'm seeing a lot of Black Lives Matter and all that shit on Instagram, and the truth is, this isn't a race issue, okay? The fact that, you think it's racist that a white cop is killing a black person just because he's black, because that is the definition of racism, okay? That is racist in and of itself, because you're assuming that a white is racist because he is white. Now, me, I am 25% Hispanic and 75% white. So I have a good amount of Hispanic blood, okay? And while I may drop a lot of racist jokes here and there, they are in good fun. I do not hate blacks. I do not hate Hispanics. I do not hate Asians, although I love I love to make fun of them. I like to make fun of everyone. Okay, that's my way of coping with things. What that police officer did was disgusting. It was despicable. Okay? You just don't do that. Now, my issue with Black Lives Matter isn't... I inherently have a problem with Black Lives Matter because the phrase Black Lives Matter implies that other races don't matter, or that blacks are more important, or they're above all of the other races, which is racist. Because racism, according to the Merriam-Webster, is the assumption that a race is superior. And I want you to get the word superior into your head than another race, okay? That is racism, and Black Lives Matter is a racist movement. I would go as far to say that it is the blacks' variant of the Ku Klux Klan. Okay? And I don't say that lightly, but I tell it how I see it. Okay? I saw quite a few, and I'm going to get into this a little bit, I saw quite a few Black Lives Matter protests over the past weekend, and you know what? I didn't see a lot of black people at those protests. You know what that tells me? That some people are smart enough to know that this isn't a race issue, and some people are smart enough to know that Black Lives Matter isn't for black people, necessarily. Okay, they're just against everyone else. Okay, that's the first thing. Alright, and just the whole movement, it almost infuriates me as much as the feminist movement, because they try to justify it. The feminist movement tries to justify that, oh, the dictionary says that feminism is equal rights. No, it's not. If it was all about equal rights between men and women, how come feminists are protesting men's rights movements, or dropping all of this hate on men and making it so that women can cry rape and ruin a man's life? No, that is not gender equality. That is... I don't even want to get into that, because I want to keep this calm and I want to keep it civil. So Black Lives Matter is trying to protect their movement by saying that, oh, well, we're just trying to exterminate racism. Yeah, okay, Black Lives Matter, you're trying to get rid of racism with more racism? Very counterproductive. Okay, and you know what? I know YouTube is going to try to take this video down. I don't care. Okay? I am not going to sit back while Hispanics, whites, Asians, Middle Easterns, Christians, Jews, who, by the way, have been persecuted a hell of a lot more than the blacks have. The blacks did not have a Holocaust. The blacks were not persecuted by the Egyptians for 2,000 years, or something like that. The blacks can't go anywhere but Israel and not get persecuted. You know, the thing is that this police officer, we don't know if he was racist. Maybe because some cops do get drunken with their power and their authority, that they think that they can bully other people. My issue is that Black Lives Matter are just assuming that cops have prejudice. All cops. Even black cops. Even Hispanic cops. Even Asian cops. God forbid I say, even white cops. We are all equal. There are some people in this world who don't want us to be equal, that think that races are superior to one another, but in reality, the only difference is a hormone known as melanin. You know what that does? It makes our skin darker. Or the absence of it makes our skin lighter. Okay? It's an evolutionary trait. Now, I don't particularly, as a Christian, believe in the process of evolution, but I do believe that humans can evolve to their surroundings, or adapt, okay? But I'm just trying to fathom how Black Lives Matter is even remotely concerned by this. There's still slavery going on in Africa. Why aren't you protesting that, Black Lives Matter? Or is your only purpose to bitch and moan about Donald Trump, or how the blacks in this country have it so fucking bad? Well, you know what? I don't think that the blacks in Africa, who don't even have enough food to have a decent set of abs, most of them have their ribs showing through their fucking stomach. Well, you people are stuffing your face with the food that, by the way, comes from China. Well, Asian lives don't matter. How about the little kids that make the phone that you're using? Or the computers that you're using? Who aren't even paid enough to get a meal at the fucking dollar store? How about that? Alright, and here's another thing. Black Lives Matter likes to push around this thing where, you know, if a certain race got to something first or whatever, like, okay, whites aren't allowed to say the N-word. I'm not going to say it on here because this video will instantly get taken down. Okay, that's cool. So, if that's the case, blacks can't use electricity. White people invented electricity. Bet you didn't thought, oh, you can't use a telephone. You know, whites invented that too. Or the computer. No, I already said the computer. Of course, whites invented that too. Or any of the programs that go on those computers, or calculators, or water systems and sewage systems, by Black Lives Matter logic, okay? So it's just a horrible argument. It's and all of these riots are just so uncalled for. Okay, a man that happened to be black was killed by a cop that happened to be white. How does that give people the right to go destroy fucking stores in the middle of a pandemic where nobody is allowed to work? Thousands of dollars in damage per store from people who are already struggling to keep their business afloat. Are you fucking kidding me, America? Really? Are you kidding me? See, this is the America that our founding fathers did not want. The kind where people at the drop of a hat would turn into uncivilized, ignorant animals. Because that is what these riots are, these rioters. A bunch of uneducated, brainwashed, ignorant animals. They are no different from the apes which they think they evolved from. They are no different from a dog. And my prayers go out to these store owners that their businesses don't go right down the drain from these damages. And these rioters are now killing people. Since when does the wrongful death of a man give anyone the right to go take a life? Please, somebody explain that to me. It is disgusting. I am disgusted with these people. And you know what? I do support Trump using the U.S. military to defend against these riots. Because you know what? The governor of, what was it, Minnesota? He ain't doing shit. I really can't believe it. See, and this whole, oh, this was racist. This victim complex that all of these blacks have these days, and not all. There's a silent minority who are educated enough to know that y'all aren't slaves anymore. You never will be. You never will be. Not to say that there aren't blacks who are slaves right now over in Africa to their government. Okay? But you, blacks in the United States, and I'm talking to all of you, you're never going to be slaves. It's not going to happen. It's taboo, and the United States will not allow it. It will not be allowed. It's unconstitutional. You have, I believe, 2 amendments in the Bill of Rights that are going to prevent you from becoming slaves. Not to mention the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. I want you to emphasize the word liberty. So if you're an American citizen, you have the right to liberty. So stop bitching and moaning about your ancestors from 200 years ago who were slaves. Okay? The Holocaust happened quite a long time after that in the recent history, where 6 million Jews and overall 10 million people died because of Hitler's persecution. I don't see those numbers if you combine the slave trade, the Civil War, and the movement in the 60s. My head is all over the place. I can't think of what it's called off the top of my head. Civil rights movement, that's what it was called. So all 3 of those events combined did not equate even close to the number of deaths in the Holocaust. Okay? Here's another little bit of food for thought. Blacks make up 13% of the overall American population. So how come our jails are filled with 94% black, I believe it's 3% Hispanic, and the rest white? Why is it that blacks make 13% of the population in the United States, and most of the hate crimes in the United States, 65%, if I remember correctly, are black on white. So, explain how the whites are racist. Explain how most blacks in the United States are Democrat, even though it was the Democratic Party that not only created the Ku Klux Klan, which, let me give you a little history lesson on the Ku Klux Klan. It was created by the Democrat Party after the Civil War to fight against the slaves who were being freed from stealing the jobs of the white men. Okay. The Southerners, who were Democrat, leftist, didn't like the outcome of the Civil War and the abolition of slaves, so they made a big racist movement known as the Ku Klux Klan. Well, it looks like the blacks are following in their footsteps because that's what Black Lives Matter is. You have the feminists, who are the modern-day Nazis, and you have Black Lives Matter, who are the modern-day Ku Klux Klan. Wow, folks, that is surprising. And you know what? You may hate me, you may disagree with me, but I'm just stating facts. Okay? I love black people. I do. Quite a few black people are some of my closest friends. Okay? And even they can back me up on this. This is not right. This is not how you condemn racism. This is not how you do it. Martin Luther King would be backing me up on this. Matter of fact, if Martin Luther King were seeing how the blacks acted right now, I think he would be disappointed. Because a lot of them are not what he represented, and they use his name to justify their actions. But I don't see blacks peacefully protesting as he would. I don't see blacks praying to the Lord and walking down the streets like they used to when Martin Luther King led them. You know what I see? I see a bunch of idiots running around smashing everything up. For what? To punish the cops? Ha ha ha, guess what? The cops don't live in the places that they're smashing up. They're just raising their own tax dollars. I guess it's nice to be uneducated, huh? Good job, Black Lives Matter. You make your associates so brainwashed that they don't even know that they're destroying themselves and not the cops that they're supposedly fighting against. And that brings me to continue what I was talking about earlier. Why is it that everyone assumes that cops have prejudice? I mean, really? What makes this whole thing that if you're a cop, you're a bad guy, you're crooked? You know, they are servants of the people. They are there to serve and protect. The oath they swore is to serve and protect and to enforce the law. Okay? And that police officer the other day was not doing that. He was committing murder. And it's just, you know, I spent most of this video arguing against Black Lives Matter and how racism is viewed in this day as a whole. And what I want you to get out of this is that There is no inherently racist race. As a matter of fact, whites are less racist than blacks, and Hispanics even less. Because if a white person insults a black person, their life is ruined, but if it's the other way around, oh, but we were persecuted, we were slaves, we can say that. No, there is no double standard. Y'all need to stop arguing about that and be at peace. You're not going to solve the issue of racism with more racism, ladies and gentlemen. It's just not going to work. There are times where you need to fight fire with fire. This is not one of them. Because fighting hate with hate only breeds more hate. Alright? You know, my condolences to the family. But the man's brother even said that they wanted peace. No more rioting. No more fighting. The men need to be brought to justice because this was not a hate crime. This was a police officer who was not doing his job properly, which is the understatement of the year, I know, and a man died in the process. He needs to be punished to the full extent of the law, and all of his little buddies that were sitting there and watching, too. And you know what? Shame on those innocent, quote-unquote, innocent bystanders that were recording this. If I was a citizen on the street and I saw that, I don't care what would happen to me. I would tackle the cop that's on top of him. I don't care if I get dogpiled. You don't get to choke a man out and kill him. That is not how a free American citizen does things. That is not what our founding fathers fought for. Sloth in the face of evil is worse than the crime that one is committing. And what that means is that those bystanders that were sitting there are just as bad as the people who are committing the crime. So there's a little bit of food for thought. This was a very different kind of video. Y'all might see me as racist if you have that whole leftist, oh, every white person is racist, oh, blah, 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 woe is me, boo fucking who. You know what? Fine. If you don't like this message, I honestly don't care. I spoke my mind, I spoke the truth, I spoke facts, and that is a lot less than most of these politicians these days are coming out and doing. Now, I don't like politics. I don't like politicians. I'm not going to call myself a Trump supporter. I'm not going to call myself an anyone supporter. I know right from wrong, and I know that this crime wasn't right. It was despicable. It was disgusting, but I also know that the way that everyone is reacting is like a bunch of animals. We are supposed to be civil human beings, not the apes that we supposedly evolved from. Because if we really evolved, we should be acting a hell of a lot more civil. Alright, that is my message to you guys. God bless. Thanks. I really can't sugarcoat this, so I spoke my mind. I had to get this off my chest, and I hope you guys can understand. As for more content, this is the only one of these kinds of videos that I intend to make. If some other situation pops up that I disagree with, maybe I'll come on and talk about it. But let's just go into the progress base really quick. Show you what I did so far. So let's set this as active. Got almost 2 rows of walls here to level 12, so they still have a couple more levels to go. I rushed them quite a bit. Obviously, I rushed my archer towers and cannons, which is kind of shitty, but I got my Expos, my scatter shots, my Infernos, and my Eagle done, and I've got a single air defense going. I've also got 3 of my heroes going. I've gotten my king up like 10 levels in the past month, and my warden has gone up 5 levels in the past month as well. I put my royal champ down because I was sitting on a full elixir storage. Kind of shitty since CWL is right here. I'm not going to be doing any queen charge. I'm just going to use the queen as a sacrificial troop. I made it back up to Legend League again. I've been trying to put out videos on my push to Legend League, but they've all been... Mobizen has been, like, really fucking me over, because it's just been, like, cutting out bits and pieces, and the videos have been virtually unusable. I have made it to Legend League. This is my second time up here. I actually broke my previous record, which was 5,006. Now it's 5,013. I've also taken up base building. I built a new war base. Oh, no, I didn't want to set it as active. I just want to edit it really quick, just to show you guys. No, not this base. I did not design this base. I copied that base. This is the base that I designed. So basically it's just anti-queen charge. I mean, if you try to queen charge at the top, you're hitting a couple of black mines, giant bombs, a Tesla farm. You're not going to wall break, because I've got all my bombs set up around there. You're not going to really wall break the sides. You might get a wall break in here, but if you try to charge, you get a Seeking Air Mine and a Skeleton Trap to get through. And that's with an Expo on top of you. If you try to queen charge from the bottom, you got a single Inferno, you got a couple of Seeking Air Mines. You can't wall break this bottom part, actually. You have to come in with a wall wrecker. And because the Town Hall is right here, I just did the obvious wall wrecker entry. I set a Seeking Air Mine down there, and a couple little walls to slow down entry. I got the Tornado Trap in here, just in case someone decides to use hybrid or something. I've got my spring traps placed strategically so that, you know, any kind of hog or hybrid attack going through these little alleyways would just get stopped. And you know what? The base has defended pretty well against a few test rounds. I threw up some friendly challenges. The top guy in our clan only got a 79% 2-star on it with Electro Dragons, so that's got to go for something. Considering that he's a max Town Hall 13 and he's been pretty high up in Legend League, so anyway, that's going to be it for this one. Sorry for the controversial topic, but I had to say it. I had to speak out, because the way that people are handling it isn't right. And I do believe that this is not, you know, a hate crime. I believe that this is just bad police conduct. It happens very often, more often than it should. But anyway, hope you guys have a nice day. I'll upload pretty soon. See you on the next one. Goodbye.